Hi, my name is Uti Prakash. I am from Chanakya National University and presently I am an intern at LexClick. In this video, we're going to talk about the doctrine of res judicata under section 11 of Code of Civil Procedure. Now, ex capitio res judicata means that one suit and one decision is enough for any single dispute. This is the meaning under the Roman law. Under Indian law, section 11 deals with the doctrine of res judicata of the CPC. Now, what is res judicata? It means that if a dispute is decided in a former suit, it need not be decided in a subsequent suit. Now, why it is important and why it's used? It's because because of three doctrines that the Indian law abides by. First, no man should be vexed twice for the same cause. Second, it is in the interest of the state that there should be an end to litigation. And third, a judicial decision must be accepted as correct. It means that if this doctrine is not followed, then parties will again and again file suits under the same dispute, harassing their opponent, harassing the party, resulting in a lot of wastage of time, effort and money of the court and of the parties. Hence, if a court decides one dispute, if a competent court decides one dispute at a certain time in a certain case, then the same dispute should not be brought up in another case. This is the doctrine of res judicata. Now, what are the considerations? Conditions for the application of res judicata? First is that there must be two suits, one former and another is the subsequent. If in the former suit, if a certain dispute is discussed, then former here means previously discussed suits which have been tried, considered and given a judgment on by the competent court. And the subsequent suit should not have the same dispute that was decided in the former dispute. The second is matter directly and subsequently in the substantially in the subsequent suit. Now, the subject matter that the dispute belongs to should be the same in the former and the subsequent suit. For example, A files a case against B for partition, where A is a woman and B is her late husband's brother, right? And she files a suit against him because B is claiming property, partition section in her property. Now, a case is decided where the court says that the claim for partition is denied. If the same woman files another suit against B, where it says that this dispute is about the marriage expenses of A and her husband, then this will not be covered under the doctrine of res judicata, because even if it's about the same marriage, it's about the same family, it includes the same parties, it does not come under the aspect of res judicata because the subject matter of the dispute is completely different and not related. Third is there must be the same parties. In both the parties, in both the cases, former and subsequent, the parties should be the same. Parties are the people who have been mentioned in the final judgment of the case. If a party withdraws or whose name is cut off from the judgment, that party does not become that person is not the official party in the case. And if a minor is a party in some case where the guardian is not representing them, then they do not become the party in the case. Now, fourth is there must be the same title. Same title means in the same capacity. For example, A files a case against B for some matter. For example, let's take about some property dispute, right? And the court decides on the case, gives the judgment. Now A again files a case against B for some mortgage dispute on some other property. Now, in this case, A has exercised capacities which are completely different in the former case and in the subsequent case. Fifth is the decision must be made by the competent court. Now, if the decision is made by a court which does not have the jurisdiction, talking about the former case, if the decision is given by a court which does not have the original jurisdiction to try the case, in that case will be void, and that judgment is not going to be taken under the aspect of res judicata. And the last is heard and finally decided. Only those cases come under the aspect of res judicata that have been heard and finally decided, which means that the court has used its judicial mind, heard all the arguments, considered all the facts, taken in consideration all the evidence, and then given the judgment. This also in the following cases, the matter is deemed to be finally decided on merit, even if the former suit is deposited off in the following manner: 1. By ex parte, by dismissal, by decree on an award, by oath tendered under Section 8 of the Indian Oath Act, and 5th, by dismissal owing to plaintiff failing to produce evidence at the hearing. Now, if you want any more information about res judicata, there are a lot of papers online available, and for Indian law res judicata doctrine, you can go and study Section 11 of the series.